Sunset of Time by Albino Corn, Chapter 14, Crimson Onslaught. An iron current had fallen around the cavern, crossing even the tubular camel of the twister. Everyone's attention shifted between Sunset Shimmer and the mare who looked just like her. Fear bubbled in Sunset's stomach, turning around to the point of nausea. Her throat constricted, breath expelling incontrovertibly sudden puffs of air as she stared at her doppelganger. The semblance was perfect, like looking into a mirror. Same eyes, same snout, same hair color and style. Sunset wouldn't even register that underneath the black coat, he had the same cutie mark. The only difference was the haughty smirk on the other Sunset's face. She tried to wrap her mind around what she beheld, but every thought that slipped out of her head. Sunset, her breathing becoming further labored. She wanted the world to stop, to freeze just long enough so she could piece everything together, and answer the parodic questions raiding her mind. How could there be two of her? Why did the mare he had been so desperately chasing stare at her face? The memories and feelings Sunset had been experiencing, did they belong to her instead? Could she really be the other Sunset Shimmer from her dreams? Deep within, she could feel her very soul trembling, quivering in abject horror, yet radiating the sense of recollection that led her this far, almost overbearing, clouding her senses and riling her mind with incurable flashes of memories, both familiar and unknown to her. The corners of her lips curled upwards, wanting to curl into the same dark grin plastered on Vesper Radius's face. Sunset wanted to hate, to throw away the painful notions of love and just despise the world. She wanted to prove that she was strong, the strongest. She was superior in every way conceivable. She wanted to be immortal. She wanted to be loved. No, stop it! Sunset willed herself to pull out these strange feelings, dragging herself back to the present situation. Those weren't hers. She didn't hate anything. She didn't want to be immortal. She was already loved. Still, it was like being pulled into two directions. The essence of her being trying to split puny gas. Sunset aimed her focus on the plane before her, forcing herself to look her in the eyes. Those mad, hateful eyes. Finally, Pinky raised herself. I'm confused. How can there be two sunsets? The mare they knew as Vesper Radiance eyed all of them. How indeed. Her tone also different from Sunset's, carrying a more self-important one. She began to pace the floor, focusing her gaze on Sunset. I've been wondering that since the first time I saw you at Cloudsdale. You're practically a perfect copy. I hate copycats. She stopped and leaned forward, her sinister smirk widening. So what are you? A changeling? An automaton? Or did Celestia miss me so much that she made a clone of me? Miss you? Why would Celestia miss you? Who are you? Vesper threw her head back, vastly different from Sunset's own. It was cruel, full of arrogance and malice. Of course she wouldn't tell you anything about me. She could never admit when she had made a mistake. Her eyes found twilights and said, perhaps I should fully introduce myself. I am Sunset Shimmer, former student of Princess Celestia and rightful inheritor of the equestrian throne. Rightful inheritor? Twilight shook her head. What do you mean you're Celestia's former student? She never mentioned you! Besides, she placed a hoof on Sunset's shoulder. The real Sunset Shimmer is my student for the future. Sunset stood a little taller, heart swelling with pride. Vesper only laughed again. The kisses of the cave seeming to multiply her presence. Is that the crap she told you? And you bought it? Well, either way, she's a really good actress. Or you're just incredibly stupid. Princess! Cielo huffed her head and sighed. Oh, Celestia, once again you picked a complete dunce. What could you possibly see in her that I lacked? Rainbow dashed east to her host, wiping the blood that stained the fur around her head. Keep insulting her, you'll find out the hard way. You should really give your attack dog a muzzle and a leash before she does something you all regret. Why, you! Rainbow made to fly at Vesper again, but Applejack quickly caught her by the tail, filling her mouth with hair. Careful, this girl's are another one. Well, at least the tail! That's right. Be a good doggy and let the big ponies talk. Vesper smirked at Rainbow's look of pure apathy. Though I suppose the Pegasus has a point. She smiled viciously at Twilight. The truth of the matter is, I find you fascinating, Twilight Sparkle. You've done so much in such a short time. vanquished Nightmare Moon, re-imprisoned Discord, defended Camelot from an invasion, and held sage an entire empire, leading to your crowning moment. Becoming an alicorn and seating yourself amongst royalty, right next to Celestia. She said bitterly, "Tell me, princess, what's it like knowing you're so much better than everybody else?" Twilight folded her ears. I'm not better. I mean, I don't think I'm better than anybody. Really? You stand at the front of your friends, wield the element of magic, and trump them all with the title of Princess of Equestria. You're so humble to think you are better than all of them. Vesper asked with smug skepticism. I, Twilight narrowed her eyes and stomped her hoof. No! Wings and the title don't mean anything around them. They're my friends, and they'll always be my equals. I wouldn't have been able to do any of those things without them. Vesper put a hoof over her heart, gave a look of faint empathy. Oh, that's so sweet. I think I want to puke. Her face returned to a calm mask of neutrality. But you're right about one thing, Twilight Sparkle. You aren't better. Compared to me, you are nothing. Nothing but a thief stealing what's rightfully mine, and a coward hiding behind your friends. Magical talent is wasted on you. Oh yeah? Spike shouted. Twilight is the strongest unicorn. Wait, third strongest alicorn in Equestria. Her magic could beat yours any day. Perhaps you should muzzle him too, Vesper said. Very well. Let's see what you're capable of, princess. We'll see how great Twilight Sparkle's magic truly is. Above her horn and the alicorn amulet around her neck began glowing a deep shade of red. Sparks of electricity danced all around her, while her eyes widened in maniacal glee. Come, show me why she favors you! Vesper roared. A crescent beam of energy discharged from her horn, heading directly for Twilight. Twilight threw up a shield, but physically flinched under the sheer power Vesper was exerting. Coming fully out of her trance state, Sunset reinforced the shield, teal and magenta overlapping one another. Twilight gave her a quick look of appreciation, before lowering her layer of shield and prepping a counterspell. A subtle leak from her, and Sunset dropped the shield, allowing Twilight to fire a beam of her own. Two waves of energy crashed together, lighting the room up in shimmering waves of purple and red. The two powers were evenly matched, battling right into the center of the cavern. That's it. Vesper's mask of neutrality vanished, replaced by an errant thrill, delirium dancing in her tiny pupils. Show me everything. I want to know. I want to know why she favors you. Sunset crossed next to Twilight, horn ignited. It's prey Twilight could handle this maniac on her own. Was fully prepared to jump in at any time. My she's still a little low, but I'll spend every last drop if it means stopping her here. Amidst the contest of magic, a streak of blue lightning ripped through the air and slanted the Vesper radiance, prematurely ending the duel. She collided with the wall, suffering a quick follow-up punch to the gut. Vesper crumpled to the floor, coughing a few times before chuckling to herself. You know, for the elements of harmony, that wasn't very harmonious, blindsiding me like that. You tried to kill my best friend, Rainbow growled, throwing back some distance. All bets are off! As I mentioned, there's a difference between being harmonious and being pacifist. Why do people always get that wrong? You can still fight with friendship, you can still be friendly, but that doesn't mean that if a giant monster or some asshole's trying to attack you, doesn't mean you don't put up your dukes. Remember, pacifism, no fighting. Technical pacifists, Batman. Get your definitions straight. A large piece of rock tore itself free off the ground and hurled itself at Rainbow. Just as he was about to duck, the rock exploded into a shower of stone shrapnel, raining down on Rainbow, tearing cuts into her skin. She put her hose up to shield her face, but it did little against the burst of energy that followed and crashed into her. The blast knocked her back across the cavern, angry burn across her chest. She would have impacted the wall of Pinky Head and sprung to answer and caught her mid-flight. Fed for fire hose. Oh, did that hurt? It hurt, right? Tell me it hurt, she said hysterically. Rainbow weakly got up, holding a hoof to her newest wound. Monster, she wheezed. Oh, it's the attack dog all tuckered out, Vesper pouted. I thought you wanted to play some more. Another spear of energy swirled again. Here, let's play catch. With a swing of her head, the crimson orb flew off, only to deteriorate against a wide purple shield. Twilight grinds, her face contorting in pain when Vesper followed up her first attack with a hailstorm of fiery blasts, each one crashing against the barrier with full extent of her fury. What's the matter, princess? Are you scared to face me now? Vesper's face morphed into unbridled rage, lips curling into a snarl. Come out and fight me! So I grunted under the force of the oncoming blows. Girls, need to get out of here! I'll keep her busy! She said between breaths. Sunset's magic intermingled with Twilight's, doubling the strength of the barrier. There's no way we're leaving you alone with her! She grabbed daggers at Vesper's direction, matching her mirror image, constantly tossed her head back and forth as she threw magic at the shield. Strain on Twilight's face eased with Sunset shouldering some of the burden. I know you all want to help, but her magic, it's too strong, she could kill any of you! And to leave you by yourself, she could kill you too. Applejack snorted in defiance. You should know by now, Twilight. We're with you through thick and thin. We'll be here if we work together. How? Twilight asked, a look of desperation in her eyes. The second we put down the shield, she'll destroy us. Sunset clicked her tongue in desperation. Twilight, your shield armor compresses spell. You know it, don't you? Twilight gave her a blank stare. My what? You haven't invented it yet? Sunset faced off. There goes that plan. What plan? What haven't I invented yet? Sunset staggered as a particularly powerful blast hit her shield. She grunted and said, You make this really great spell that acts like a basic shield bubble, only it's personal and more form-fitting, like a seal of armor. Mage armor? Twilight's eyes widening over intrigue. I do? Yeah, I've only seen you use it a couple of times, but I only know basic theory. If we had that spell now, we could... Hey. Sunset looked away from Twilight. No, its barrage of magic had stopped. Beyond the current of purple, Vesper scowled before the whirlwind. She's good for the Tempest crown! Oh no, so you ain't, Applejack said. I'll make all this bubble and I'll stall her. Twilight folded her ears. But Applejack... I'll be fine, Circle Cube. She pulled out a coil of rope from beneath her hat. Let's get that spell ready if you'll help us, alright? With a yielding sigh, Twilight dropped the shield with Sunset following suit. Applejack charged out, twirling a rope over her head. Sunset brought the barrier back up, mostly for Twilight to stop when she was about to follow Sunset's lead. You need to learn how to cast a spell. Like I said, I only know basic theory, so you're going to have to put this together yourself. Twilight nodded. Let's make this quick! Applejack tossed her lasso at Sunset, Vesper radiance. Some point really needs to explain what the heck's going on. It flew over her head and came to rest securely around her shoulders. Mighty tug, Applejack yanked Vesper away from the twister, dragged her through the shallow tide. Vesper glared up at her, spat out a mouthful of wire. Great. The Earthbind thinks he can keep up with me. Fighting hard against the rope, Applejack ignored the jab. You teal-flight snake, who are you, really? Already told you who I am. It's little wannabe over there who's having a case of mistaken identity. Vesper got her hose, still bound by Applejack's rope. Applejack, do you really think you can defeat me? Little Felicia? Nope. Applejack tugged the rope again, bringing her hoof back as Vesper came forward. She struck out, collided with Vesper's face, nearly going the rope. And that don't mean I'm not going to try to beat the tar out of you. Vesper flew across the cavern, straight into the whirlwind, eagerly sucked up by his wild gale. She spun rapidly in the funnel, rising up with the wind until it spat her out. She crashed against the floor. Her mane now sat in disarray. Several cuts marked her face, along with the bruised Applejack's hoof left. She raised her head, murderous intent in her red eyes. As the rope around her disintegrated, Vesper let a jet of fire from her horn. Die, mud pony! Applejack rolled to the side and narrowly avoided having her coat scorched. She ducked as the fire trailed overhead and broke into a run in the opposite direction, ducking again as Vesper dragged her fire back her way. The heat of the flames died down, and Applejack looked over her shoulder, only to see an empty cavern. When Applejack looked ahead again, she found Vesper charging at her, horn crackling with static energy. Acting on instincts, Applejack spun into the air, right over Vesper's lightning, landing firmly on the ground behind her. One swift motion, Applejack snapped her hind legs out, delivered a powerful kick to Vesper's backside, sending her flying across the cave. Vesper rolled across the floor, getting tangled in her black coat. A red light fell to her mid-tumble as he vanished in a cloud of dust. Applejack crouched, scanned the entire perimeter, but Vesper was nowhere to be seen. She was just about to ease up her guard when she heard Pinky shout, Applejack, above you! When Kate leaped backwards, Applejack definitely avoided being impaled by a shout of crimson energy, only to have it detonate a second layer. Applejack sailed across the cavern, by skipping across its own stone floor. The entire world became a dizzy, disjointed mess as she rolled over herself, feeling sharp rocks cut across her back. Seeking to wrestle her muzzle in a pocket of water, choking as she inhaled a mouthful. She tried to lift her head. A hoof came down, smashed into the floor. Be thankful, Vesper said in a soft whisper. I'm going to make you quick. Jack squeezed her eyes shut, waiting for the end. Mine was really too fast for her to organize any last thoughts. What did manage to surface to the front of the chaos? Will this lab feel that? Funnily enough, it didn't hurt as much as Applejack imagined it would. In fact, it felt like a doctor was trying to stick a particularly large needle into her back. It was more irritating than painful. What the? Hearing Vesper's unexpected confusion, Applejack took advantage of the situation, prying one of her front legs from underneath herself and elbowing Vesper in the face. Vesper staggered off, clenching her muscle. Applejack raised her head, taking a large breath of air, coughing up excess water. As she fizzed, refilling her lungs, she noticed a bright purple outline around her body. She looked over to Twilight and Sunset, who wore triumphant smiles. Twilight's horn burned with powerful magic. Hello, you old sugar cube, Applejack called. She immediately blasted by another burst of magic, but that was notably less painful than before. At least someone simply ran into her full force. She bounced back to her host, faced an oncoming Vesper radiance, another ball of energy forming her horn. She didn't get very far before Rainbow blindsided her again, using all her weight to throw Vesper onto the back wall. Like Applejack, Rainbow was covered in purple aura. Applejack fixed her gaze on Rainbow's wound. Are you sure you're suping up till soon? Rainbow waved her off. I'm fine. Besides, we got, mage armor now. So is this your gambit, Twilight Sparkle? Vesper picked her off the ground. Have your friends fight your battles like pawns on a chessboard? You're one to talk, Sunset yelled, joining Applejack and Rainbow with Pinky trailing close behind. Both of them covered in Twilight's new spell. Who was it that sent that Griffin mercenaries after us? I forget. Mind your tongue, bug! The air around Vesper began to ripple and distort as four bright lights manifested above her. I've had enough of this constant mailing. Petit, fortress de couture de care! The four lights synced themselves into four flowing signals, each described with identical designs and markings. In the center of each was a eight-rayed sun split into two halves. If you want your deaths to be less painful, I suggest you step aside and let me deal with the princess, Vesper said with a low growl. I'm not going to happen, Applejack said, standing her ground, and say goodbye to your pathetic existence. Impetuous! The sigils burned red, and each one fired a ray of magic at the four ponies. Sunset reacted first, creating a widespread barrier that encompassed her three friends as well. All four shots bounced off the teal screen and flew to the ceiling, blasting a large chunk of granite. Scare! Sunset shouted, diving for safe ground. She rolled out of the way, easily blasted in the shoulder by another laser. She marveled at the full power of Twilight's spell. Assuming a brutal attack felt like nothing more than a first-degree burn. Glancing forward, Sunset prepared a bolt of magic, stepping into two more of Vesper's lasers before unleashing it. Ethereal red chain stuck out of Vesper's horn, shearing the spell in half before wrapping around Sunset's neck. Vesper hoisted her into the air and threw her against Rainbow, but closing in from above. Rainbow reacted a second too late, seeing Sunset crash to the ground, tangled mess of feathers and limbs. Ugh! Rainbow looked over to Twilight, standing over guard over Spike Rareshai, horn still gazing. Hey, Twilight! Mind doing us anytime soon? Twilight shook her head. I can't. I'm trying to keep your shields maintained. I can't do anything else. Sunset pulled herself out from underneath Rainbow and shook herself out. There's still four of us. We can take her. With horn and glow, she charged towards Vesper, now dealing with Applejack and Pinky. The flaming sizzles continued to fire pulses of magic every few seconds, keeping the two earth ponies on the tips of their hooves. Combined with Vesper's own attacks, it was impossible for them to get striking range. It was a heavily one-sided fight, with Vesper giggling like an excited feeling. Applejack dodged another circle of burning energy, ducked under the constant fire of the sizzles, drawing Vesper to close quarters. She struck out with a front hoof, but Vesper evaded, possessing her horn against Applejack's chest. With a mighty boom! Applejack was tossed back into the mouth of the cave, landing next to Rarity, who shrieked in horror. Applejack! Rainbow cried, turning around mid-flight to aid her. Pinky filled the gap of Applejack and left, rapidly struck Vesper with her hooves. She screams of fury, turns to cries of pain when the sizzle turned to fire, striking her multiple times in the back. In a flash of blue light, Pinky vanished. A ray sunset replacing her, rusting at Vesper, a stream of fire blazing out of her horn. The flames curved around Vesper, striking the walls of the cavern. She merely continued to sneer, the glow of the Alcorn amulet casting her face at a sinister light. She bowed her head and unleashed a more intense inferno. Sunset diverted upwards, feeling the searing heat beneath it breathed against her coat. The armor was powerful, but she was no mood to see if it made her fireproof. The deluge of fire came to an end, and Sunset was about to counter until another boulder dropped from the ceiling. She got to the side, avoiding a few more, whilst as the streams of water began to pour in from the gaps in the ceiling. Oh no, that's not good. She looked through the already ankle-high water, then back to Vesper. Sunset's vision was filled with a bright ruby light as she flew backwards, splashing across the floor. She could feel her cheeks swelling as she lay in the water. In fact, she certainly had been hit in the same spot Vesper had kicked her last time. "You all right over there, little wannabe?" Vesper called as Sunset stood up again. "You're going to pretend to be me. The least you could do is put up a fight." She released a silver orb that increased its size as it traveled across the cavern. What started out as a mere apple shape was now the size of an overgrown watermelon. Once again, Sunset covered herself with a shield, bracing herself. Only the orb never made contact with her. With hardly a foot to go, the silver spear expanded around her into a bright halo and exploded forth, causing all of her friends up to the tunnel they had come from. They cried out surprise and pain as they crashed against one another. Sunset turned to check on them, another chain wrapped around her neck and yanked her forward. She found herself staring into a pair of red eyes. The second chain snaked down Vesper's horn and wrapped around Sunset, squeezing tight. "Now," Vesper said in a thin whisper, watching Sunset squirm. "Tell me who you really are. The faster you tell me, the more merciful I'll be." Sunset flailed her hose, trying to score a hit against her captor, but it was all in vain. "I said Shimmer," she choked out. Didn't have time to scream as Vesper pummeled her to the floor, face first. "Stop lying!" She looked at Sunset to high level again. "Who are you?" "Sunset Shimmer." Sunset choked out her own words, airway completely restricted. Tears formed in her eyes, her vision began to glow dim. A sensation that was becoming all too familiar. Vesper slammed her against the floor again, retracting her chains. Before Sunset could draw a breath, a hoof crashed down against the side of her face, burying her in the soles. "I've had everything stolen from me, but you will not take this. I am the one true Sunset Shimmer!" The first blow to the head barely registered Sunset, same with the second and third, but at fourth, however, she could feel sharp pain nearly into her skull. It came faster and faster, growing in intensity. Sunset could feel hot blood trailing down her face. Even Twilight's shield could only hold Vesper's wrath for so long. Die, 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 die! Vesper chanted, her voice raising an octave with each hammer to Sunset's head. "Back off!" The onslaught finally came to an end. Sunset rolled to her back, wheezing and clutching her skull. She turned her head, using that eye that was unobstructed by blood to see Rainbow pinning Vesper to the floor, ignoring the sizzles against their magic scorched across her back. Rainbow raised the hoof and brought it across Vesper's face. "That's for Cloudsteel!" She punched Vesper 2 more times. "That's for Fluttershy!" Another 2. "That's for Sunset!" As Rainbow drew back another hit, Vesper sank into the shadows, melting away beneath the so far with a choleric look. Sizzles vanished with her. Somebody looked at Sunset into a sitting position. Echoes caused her head to scream in protest. She looked at the Applejack's eyes, fear and concern right within them. "Oh no. Sir Cube, we need to get you out of here." "No," Sunset shouted. She squeezed her eyes shut, trying to block out the rampant pain. "I have to stay. Fight her." "Sunset, you're a bleeding mess," Applejack said hotly. "You and Fluttershy need medical attention. Stay it!" "I don't!" Sunset pushed Applejack away, forcing herself to stand up. Rolled her forward, gravity working with her own debilitation to drag her back to the ground. She grunted and pushed against the ground, splitting migraine. Under blood from her eyes, she gave Applejack a forced smile and said, "See? Not too bad." She winced as a fresh wave of pain ran through her head. "Sunset." Underneath them began to tremble and sizzle like hot coals, burning the bottoms of the planes as hooves. The water bubbled from the high temperature. The light shone from below. Without thinking, Sunset Applejack dragged her out of range, just as a geyser of white-hot magic erupted from the ground. Before either of them could get their footing, the phenomenon began to repeat itself right where they were standing. This time it was Applejack who yanked Sunset out of the way of the exploding magic. Sunset regained her stance and hurried after Applejack, both of them trying to make it back across the room for safety. Another geyser erupted in front of them, watching them to change direction while they waved through the rising water, trying to stay ahead of the rampaging magic. A cold laugh echoed above them. Sunset looked up and found Vesper on the ceiling and returned gravity to her plaything. Dance, ponies, dance! Keeping pace with each other, Applejack and Sunset navigated their way through the field with erratic spouts of magic. Every few seconds, Sunset could feel the ground heat up, as he just beat the jet by a hair's breadth. Luck had finally ran out when Applejack misstepped and lost her footing in a short crater. Sunset heard her scream and scared to assault. Once in dismay, she sailed through the air and smashed against the ground, smoke curling from her body. Sunset raced over to her body and lifted her up. Applejack, say something! Both of them Rainbow had taken to the air, streamlining for Vesper with a stretch. She only outmaneuvered the bolts Vesper fired at her and rapidly closed in. With snarls, he made her first and only swing at Vesper, which flicked with her own hoof. Rainbow didn't see the stag spurring on the door above her until it discharged, catching her in its blast. Like Applejack, she rocketed to the ground, impacting with a horrible crunch. Sunset ceased in her attempt to drag Applejack to safety, even as Pinkie returned to lend a hoof. She returned towards Rainbow, something red snapped at her top of her vision. Lizard had to see a bright red ring encompassing all four ponies standing in the clearing. Vesper remained on the ceiling, black flames clinging to her eyes. Checkmate. The ring pulsated red like a dying star, dimming everything around it. Light filled its center. A terrace! As much as she wanted to look away, Sunset couldn't. She stared at the oncoming fire, feeling utterly helpless. So she grabbed her entire body. Sunset was yanked backward, feeling compressed for a brief second before landing on her side. Light destruction went off in front of her, silhouetted figure obstructing part of her view. Next to her, Applejack, Rainbow, and Pinkie wore equally surprised expressions. When the light faded, Sunset found Twilight standing up, with her back to all of them, her head bowed. No more. No more. Upon further examination, Sunset noticed the purple scene at Acacia was now gone. Twilight? Sunset looked back at him. Grief was painted on her face, but her eyes had taken an unflinching hardness. I can't keep you protected forever. I refuse to watch as you fight this battle for me, and almost die as a result. She closed her eyes and took a slow breath. Never order you girls to do anything, even as a princess. So I'm begging you as a friend, leave now and let me handle this. Sunset was immediately up on her hooves. No, Twilight, you can't expect us to walk away without you. I know it's hard, but look at yourselves. Even with this new spell, she's tearing you girls apart. Twilight looked away and shuddered. I could never forgive myself if something happened to you on my account. And we'll never forgive ourselves if something happened to you, Sunset argued. She felt a hoof on her shoulder and twisted back to see Applejack with a grim expression. Sunset, I hate to admit it, but this ain't our show anymore. My stay work's good as going. We just need to trust Twilight can handle this. But, Sunset's meek protest was ignored. She could see everyone else's eyes. He had succumbed to the painful idea. Pinkie, do you remember the way out? Pinkie solemnly nodded her head. Good. You lead the way. Get back to the surface and head to Las Pegasus. Get everyone treated and send a letter to the princesses. Rarity, you think you can take control of the boat? Rarity looked uncertain, but nodded anyway. I could certainly try. I'm a little bit miffed, though. I've been useless this entire fight, Arthur. Deciding not to give me archery, which I can certainly do. Just going to let me stay back here? No, it's fine. I don't feel insulted at all. Alright then, good luck. I'll try to join you as soon as I can. A moment hesitates on everyone's part before Pinkie treads up the tunnel, followed by Rarity, who carried Fluttershy on her back. Spiky Twilight tight hug and ran after them, hurrying alongside Applejack. Only Sunset and Rainbow remained. Twi, I know you're strong, but this feels like a bad idea. I know. Flexa likes Twilight's heavy tone. But I'm out of ideas. Rainbow bit her lip. Just come back safe, okay? No, I'm fine. It's not like in Tears of Gaia. Fluttershy was the one who got insulted, and I had an awesome moment. I don't care. Sunset took a rebellious step forward. I'm not leaving you, Twilight. Not now. Sunset sighed. Sunset, I know this is the hardest for you, but you need to go. No, I will not. Hey, Rainbow, put me down! Rainbow wrapped her forelegs around Sunset and dragged her into the air, carrying her back into the maze. It sucks, yeah, but face it, Sunset, we're out of our league now! Sunset continued to struggle, trying everything without resorting to magic. Rainbow's too strong. No! Put me down! Twilight, please! She watched Twilight stride out of the tunnel, back to the floated maw, her head held high. Just like before. Just like at the end of the world. Princess!